the villages, based on sacred symbolism for the general outlay, have the intention of encouraging people to enjoy knowledge per se and to help others attain the same by being informed about ever-changing, transformative ideas that create better and better environments for the people of the future. Given that transformation is the essence of life and not so much stability and repetition, which can suppress the soul and its journey, as well as the joy of living and serenity in life, then it makes sense to create societies open to change, looking forward to change, embracing change, and finding novel solutions to enjoy the belonging to this beautiful planet of ours by contributing with fresh and creative solutions. Of course, a lot of what is already being done in many places is working perfectly and deserves to be applied and incorporated in whatever new horizons may appear at the front. However, with creative input and serenity, even though the changes may be ever so slight, hope for future prosperity within and without is assured. For example, there is a lot of symbolism associated with different numbers in numerology, which is an old science that many have not yet understood the power and significance of, yet people like Leonardo da Vinci and his contemporaries, as well as people in Egypt and even before then, well knew and still know how, by applying it, universal laws are activated, which can change people's lives for the better. There is also a lot of connection between the energy carried by certain animals and certain types of tree, and from that we have also got so much help through homeopathic sciences, through naturopathic remedies, and so on and so forth. Furthermore, many alternative at the moment ways of dealing with the body, the mind and the soul have been relegated to the understanding of the few, and too many people are still unaware of the beneficial powers of self-healing, that practices that are ancient and totally valid, such as Qigong, such as mudras, acupressure and the like, have the ability to replace literally a lot of what the medical experts have been locking into straight and narrow paths, for as complex as they are, where certain maladies are dealt with individually instead of really putting everything interconnectedly like life is in reality. So not only these practices are free, but they're also very powerful and very much also very useful when used as preventative measures just for feeling good. Likewise, walking, fresh air practices such as yoga and meditation are becoming more and more understood for the great impact that they create in total interconnected well-being that encompasses not just the spirit but the mind and the body. And when the spirit, which is our main richness, is in a good state and people feel serene and look forward to things, then the stress that causes sadness, frustration, anger, and you name it, dissipates and disappears and is not even part of the picture, because there is too much to do, too much to enjoy, too much to experience, and we live in harmony with nature and ourselves and each other. Therefore, it follows that once we look after number one and we find the inner interconnectedness to the spirit around us and allow our intuition through our third eye and chakras to completely bathe us of joy, of vivre and similar inputs, the miraculous movement towards longevity and interconnectiveness of a meaningful kind that takes us towards the light is impossible not to achieve. Having explained the above, then it makes sense to have villages away from the cemented cities that we have created, looking more and more similar all over the world, into better environments within nature where such practices and such ideas can be implemented. When these units, let's call them, of villages, get too big, then there is again the fear of having too many different ideas that might clash with each other, as well as some personalities taking over other people's quieter ways, and therefore regular talks and regular communication is needed for the balance to be kept alive at all times. Socrates and his disciples used to do a lot of walking and talking rather than sitting down in classrooms with 30 plus students all under the jurisdiction of one teacher. Even the word teacher has some connotations that perhaps are not the best for our purposes, because in a harmonious society, everyone can be an example for everybody else, and we're more facilitators that share knowledge than saying this is what it is and this is how you do it, in the sense that even in science and in most disciplines, what was believed in the past was not necessarily the truth, and it was modified and keeps on being modified as more knowledge comes to our understanding. So it's forever ongoing, and that's the beauty of it. And as we transform, our little galaxy transforms, and so does our little universe, and together with the ever-expanding other universes, life goes on in ever-creative ways. So let us now talk a little bit about symbolism. There are a lot of books and much information available on YouTube and on Google about the symbolism of concentric circles, about the symbolism of the cross, about the symbolism of the four elements, water, fire, air, and earth. There are a lot of sources of information about the symbolism mentioned earlier on regarding animals. And believe it or not, there is a lot of information regarding the vibration of colors and how they affect us, as well as the other forms of healing arts mentioned. Not to add to this already beautiful list more breakthrough innovations such as the med beds that we'll soon hear about in more meaningful ways globally, and other solutions using crystals together with technology that can help us be healthier and better in all aspects of our lives. This is all why the village envisaged would have 33 units that are triangular in shape, because there is also a lot of significance related to the energy of the triangle and other solids and other shapes of geometric types for that matter. And the materials that they would be built with would be transparent in some areas and more natural in others, so you could see through the beautiful trees and the beautiful nature at the back of the circle that they comprise, whereas at the front you could have, like the facets of a diamond, all those beautiful glass panes that are in part shielded with wood in the way of cane type blinds that come down when you feel you would like your privacy, and all facing the beautiful internal part of the concentric circles that are divided in between by moats with small bridges and plenty of beautiful flowers, with in the center the library, which is going to be a 2-story building with the residence of the caretaker at the top, and with very healthy, run by people in the organic sector, small cafe come restaurant, as well obviously as the toilets and those facilities that are always needed. Outside this library, overlooking all the surrounding units, which are at quite a distance, there are beautiful seats, and most of the growth of these flowers and these plants is actually in effect created in a beautiful visual way by the growth of organic food. This is, for example, what has been done in some libraries in Europe, where, for example, in Warsaw, if you go upstairs and you look down, you will see all the beautiful gardens that appear to be full of magic flowers and beautiful leaves, but they're actually mainly vegetable-based. The concentric circles with the bridges are like a meditative path that people would be probably enjoying better if in the silence of their own souls, while admiring the natural beauty around them. And as I mentioned, these concentric circles and the units are not very small. They're not huge, but sizable enough so that you don't feel the pressure of the building, of the library, nor of the units. And so while you walk through them, surrounded by nature, then you can have time to reflect and time to just breathe in this pure oxygen emanated by the plants and go about your relaxation and walking in this manner. The village idea could be implemented in various ways, in the sense that it could be for permanent residents. It could be for teaching skills to the homeless so that they can run their own place, or it could be also for maybe the caretaker and maybe the main family owning the land, or people owning the land, inviting regularly many different people in different professions to come and share their skills as voluntary workers on the land while giving lectures to others. And the latter being the case, then on the sides, like a little satellite area, there would be a building for such meeting to take place, with the facilities such as the toilets and maybe the machine for coffee and the like. And if the idea was good and the ability to create it didn't create too many issues, it would be fabulous to have this similar idea for people who travel and would like to contribute their skills by staying there for maybe a month and helping out. Ideally, there would be a lot of permaculture or hydroponic type growth. There are experiments being carried out in various parts of the world where they've been able to grow beautiful natural fruit and vegetables in very arid circumstances. And also in places like in Damanhur in Italy, they have experiments with plants where they show how they feel and how they are harmoniously able to connect with us in ways that most people don't know about, and yet ought most likely be common knowledge, so that we can all be more respectful and more kind to our friends that give us their oxygen and beauty to help us along our daily living. What these plants in Damanhur, Damanhur, do is because electrodes have been put on their branches, when people are singing or playing an instrument and the electrodes are on, accompany the music with their own sounds that are emitted through these electrical impulses, and they're perfectly in harmony with what is being sung. And they prefer generally Indian music and above all classical music, but not all types of those music pieces. Bach and Beethoven are especially liked, and specifically some sonatas, and not necessarily all the composers left as a legacy to our world. As far once this particular type of concept is understood, then to run it for posterity, very easy solutions already exist that could be added to its functioning at perfect levels in the future. And the Ubuntu UBU model proposed by people in Africa and recently mentioned in beautiful ways by Michael Tellinger, Tellinger, would be a perfect way of running everything in a concept that evidently some mayors in big cities are already implementing with their communities. In this kind of philosophy, the people are operating on contributionism, and everyone according to their interest and to their passion and to their ability. Money is not circulating except for currency used between villagers, and basically they work 3 days a week, and the rest of the time they are encouraged to do whatever they like. And they do have regular meetings to keep their connections alive, but also to see what is working, what needs changing, what could be done better and transformed, as explained at the very beginning. So now, when enough people, and we only need 10% of the world population, are convinced that such practices and similar ideas can work, and transformation is made in the ether, in the spirit that joins us all, and we can look forward to a changed situation globally where everyone will be treated equally and honored for their personal contribution, and also invited to be totally connected to everyone else, but at the same time their own individual soul expression and person. And for this to happen, then we will more and more abandon the current political economic framework, because unless we go back to a connection first within ourselves between heart and mind, and then with others doing the same, there is no real hope left for a world of peace and health and radiance with the current systems. We see that the people at the very top of our societies that often are faceless but are becoming more and more obvious internationally at the moment, often look very highly strung, very unhappy, very serious, and very controlling in their manners. And it seems that all they have achieved is never enough, and therefore they expect to give more control, more sanctions, more mandates. Yet we've all been through a couple of years of proof that that's not the optimal way to go. It is not common knowledge that many young people have had mental breakdowns in unheard of numbers compared to statistics in preceding 2019. Likewise, the number of suicides has grown exponentially. Not to mention how many young people are now getting diseases that usually older people in the population used to have. And as we're talking about the seniors, the expectation of life these days has been risen to at least 120 years. Yet there is a promise, like in biblical times, that it can be much, 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 much longer than that. And it's only our thinking and our trapped convictions that were imparted to us since birth that have stopped us understanding that if we feel good inside, we are just about invincible. We do not need AI in that respect. We don't need the chips in that respect. Our beautiful creative inner being can give us all the beautiful powers like the ancients used to do of astral travel, teleportation, and there are practices in breathing, there are practices in controlling the mind that many people are already globally experiencing in greater numbers than before, that are a promise for everyone that all the extra man-made replicas of what the human body can do by itself connected to spirit is really the key to what organic life is all about. Hopefully it all made sense. In conclusion, creating alternative villages where people can be in communion with nature and relating to others in safe environments that are radiant with lovely natural places to enjoy and make the most of will be the best solution to move away from places that make us more and more dependent on faceless people expecting to have a hold on our souls and our wills without really giving back the same personal creativity and soul-driven lifestyle that is and has always been our birthright and not really acknowledged enough throughout the ages.